Alright guys, Master Xeon here, starting off with another Blender tutorial. Now, this one is actually a redo of the one I did for this one right here, but we're going to actually step it up a notch and make it much more impressive, where it's going to come out something like this right here. Alright, that's not working. Alright, let's view it just right here real quick. Something more along the lines of this. More GrungeCurve kind of look to it. So let's go ahead and jump into Blender. And as usual, press A to select everything, X to delete everything, 7 to go on the top, 5 to go on the orthographic. Now let's jump over to Google, and we're going to search for GrungeCurves. And we're going to go into images and just find a picture we're just going to use as no, my throat's a little dry. Basically what we're going to be making. So let's locate our image here, and if you search for it, you see that there's a lot of nice choices you can use that can, help you with getting started. There's one image in particular that I used that got me pretty good results. Come on, let me be lucky enough to find the same image twice. Maybe I already have it on my desktop. Alright, and you'll get the basic idea in a minute once I begin. I'm actually starting to get behind on tutorials. It's actually this image right here. This is the one that we're going to be using today. Now, let's go ahead and go here to the bottom, put our 3D cursor here, Shift A, add a curve. Now last time I did the curves using Bezier, and as you can see, it can work pretty good if you're well adjusted to using that, but I actually found a much easier way. So we're going to delete that and add paths. Now paths I think are really great because in my opinion it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'm keyframing curves sometimes whenever I'm doing it. Like, I don't know, you'll see in a moment. Alright, so I just delete all of them, and I'm just going to select one point and begin tracing up this main curve. Now, I don't care to be perfectly accurate. I'm just tracing up it, and see curves come out looking nice, and paths come out looking nice and bended, and give you, I think, in my opinion, a little better control. So we're just tracing up this, and I'm going to just show you all a couple of techniques I used on getting the smaller curves. And as you can see, it's quite a time-consuming process. Like, there's not a super quick way to do this unless you wanted to, I guess, go through all the work of converting the image to a different format and importing it back into here. But that sounds like a bunch of work in itself. So we got our first curve here. Now the technique I used on making the smaller ones was I just press Shift D, duplicate, right click, keep it in place, tab. Now see how this point is still selected. Hold down Control, press plus, 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 and it's growing the selection all the way down to right there. Then I press it one more time, then I press X, delete. Now I just grow my segment out from here, and I have my slide stock, and they fit within the same, because the first curve we have, basically when it grows, I'm going to have it imitate it. So I'm just going to show you all how to make a couple of them, because like I said, this is a really long, tedious process, and you know, I'm not going to just go away just yet and say, you know, and you see my screen messing up over here. Like, I really am working on getting a new computer, but I haven't got it yet. But this one is driving me crazy, using Blender at home, having it crash more, all sorts of things. Like, I can't even get my other tutorial on modeling a pineapple up. So I just basically just extruded it a whole bunch, pressing E, and just traced this outline and got it right here. So we're going to use the same Shift D, duplicate again. Then we're going to press Tab, go into edit mode, and then Control plus. I'm going to just hold it down so it traces it all the way up. And to trace that other one, we're actually just going to shrink this down and move it right here, and then scale it up, move it some more, and basically we've got it to match almost. We'll move this around a little bit. And making these curves, if we just press A and 2 to look down it, we see that we already start getting this picture coming together. Now let's get this smaller one, so select this one, Shift D, Enter, Tab. We're going to use circle, select this middle area, then just Control plus and start making it grow again. Grow our selection. So S, scale that down, G, move it over, S, scale it down again, and we're just fitting this into the outline. Now, this is just a basic idea. You could take this and run pretty far with it, as you could probably imagine here with growing these. I plan on using it just as an introduction to a later video, but I'm just working on really perfecting the idea of it, because I saw a tutorial on it and I thought it was pretty amazing a long time ago, but unfortunately it was in Spanish and it was for 2.49. So, alright, now we're going to start getting these smaller ones right here. So I'm going to select this one, right click, Tab, or Shift D, duplicate, Enter, Tab, and we're just going to Control plus, grow the selection all the way down to there, X, delete, and we're going to take this and begin making a little offshoot. Now, depending on how long it takes to make this part, will be the determining factor in how detailed we get with it in the video. Like I said, a lot of this I'm going to leave up to you, so we'll Shift D, duplicate it, Enter, Control plus, alright, now we're just going to start tracing this shape right here. I just selected that area and scaled it down. I actually had pretty good luck with it. I was thinking I was going to have to trace every single one of these individually. Now I'm sorry about the screen distortion. Like I said, Blender is not very stable on this system. And this is coming out looking a little rough, but it will do. So we got that one, Shift D, Tab. The last one is selected automatically because that was the last one we're on, so Control plus, hold it, and we grow our selection right there, scale it down, and let's move it over that one. Scale it up a little bit, in this particular point, we're also going to move over, and we'll just leave it, no need. So if we go down and look at it, we got a fairly nice little curve thing going here. And we can get as detailed as we want, trace all of this. I even traced the flowers in mine and the grasshopper shapes. And here we'll continue. Let's see how much time we've been. 10 minutes. Plenty of time. We'll Shift D, duplicate, tab, Control plus, grow it all the way to there. Shift B lets you draw a box and zoom in on an area. Pretty handy. Now I can sit back a little bit. And we're just tracing around these swirls. And you see, the more zoomed in you are, the more control you have over, you know, how it comes. So I make it pretty thick right here, so they all have a real interesting little swirl right there. Now, for this one, I don't think we're going to get very detailed. Maybe a little maybe just a few more. We'll click right here, curve, path, A, select all. Let's just move it where it begins, where we want, and just delete those. And we're just tracing it, and the path actually appears after you've traced it for a moment, in case you're wondering about that. Shift B, box select, zoom in on that area. Excellent. Alright, and now we'll duplicate it, Shift D, tab, plus it up, X delete, and we'll Shift B, select this area, and get in there. And once you integrate stuff like that into your workflow, it really makes it a lot easier getting around the 3D space. Like, I use vertices a lot for placement of the cursor, just to put objects in the right zone. Like, it comes in pretty handy to have weird little things like that. So we got this swirl right here. We're going to select this one, Shift D, duplicate, tab. We're going to grow our selection out into right here, and we're going to draw this little swirl. So Shift B, get in there. It was a little blurry like that, but we have an idea. We'll just freestyle a little bit. Alright. And, you know, we should just get really crazy with it, you know. Let's trace one of these flowers. Put our cursor there. Path. You know, Control plus. Almost. Delete all the points. Let's just put this here. And tracing the flowers, you know, you don't got to be accurate. You just start tracing. And the path direction, you see it pointing. That's pretty much what direction it's going to grow in when we animate the taper and the bevel. Except this, in the first one, we just used 1. In this one, we're going to use probably maybe 5. like really just take this tutorial up a notch from the first one that actually got 100 views, which is pretty cool. Alright. Alright, just tracing. And you know, this stuff is pretty repetitive, so I like to listen to music. I'm actually going to turn it up a little bit, background noise. Alright. So we're just tracing around the flower. And obviously not matching up, but it doesn't matter. We tab out, we got that, and that looks pretty good when you look at it from a silhouette perspective of just outlines. It's not like the picture's going to be underneath it. Alright, we'll click right here, curve path, Control plus, select this point, move it right there. And we're just tracing this stuff right here. And I'm just showing you all this to get y'all started. Hopefully y'all make some original works with it. We'll just Shift D, move this over to here. I'm just going to delete all the points. And I'm going to trace this right here. Alright, see, we got that right there, and it looks pretty good. You know, the path really adds a nice bend to it, in my opinion. And we're just going to continue tracing. We're not really going through a whole lot of time here, so no need to be impatient. Still tracing past here. Sorry, I just kind of zoned out for a minute. You know, like I said, it gets pretty monotonous. I'm just picking random curves and just tracing them. Just using the simple tools, eat, extrude, getting just a basic shape, and a curve does all the rest. So making this stuff is really a piece of cake. And if we look here, we've made some real leeway as far as making a very interesting picture. So look, we can select this one here, Shift D, Tab, take that all the way down, which looks pretty cool, X, alright, and we'll go ahead and put one here, tracing that path. Now you don't have to always delete them all down to the bottom like I am. That's just what I choose to do. Look at it distorting, it drives me crazy. Makes me think my computer is going out. Probably is. I tell you, this thing's gonna get a shotgun funeral. No pension. Forget that. This computer doesn't deserve it. Alright, Shift B. We're going to trace some stuff in this area. Alright. Picking up the speed a little bit. Like I said, you can afford to get sloppy with it. It's not like you're comparing it to the original. And as you can see, even working hastily, you still can get some pretty good results. Alright, now time is definitely passing by now, and we have built far more of this picture than I was initially intending, but you know, once you get into the groove, it starts getting pretty fun, so let us just continue. And we've only been on this for 21 minutes. So let's trace some of these more interesting shapes, and I'll show you all even how to form that circular shape. So we're going to add a path right here. We're going to actually trace the flower. So move our paths up here, just extruding them. Alright, now we add another path, Control plus, grow our selections, just delete them, Shift B, Shift B. Now look, we can get even more detailed with it, so yep, and it looks so sloppy, but when we come out, it will actually look pretty good. And there we go. We got all of this so far, which is definitely a lot for us to be dealing with in a tutorial. So let's just go ahead and build the flower part. Just place some points. Alright, and see this swirl right here? We're actually going to select, we're not going to trace all of this. This is where we're going to go ahead and just clear out the background image. And we got just our curves here. Let's turn the music back down. Alright. Now let's get in the high gear. Alright, so we're going to select these curves right here and Shift D, duplicate them. R, Y, 180, R again, scale, G, rotate. We're just using a rotate tool and rotating along the Y and the X, and here we go. This will be the curves we're going to be animating. So here's where we're going to create like the animated levers for controlling their growth. Click right here, Shift A, curve, Bezier. Period. Zoom in on it, tab. We're going to select this one, E, Y, 2, and press A to select everything, press V, choose vector. And then when you select this point, press Control H, and we're going to add a hook to new object. Now we got this empty that's going to control this. Now this part is going to be our taper, and as this goes up, it's going to grow the curve out like so. If you can see underneath it, you'll see a pattern kind of here in a minute. Now we're going to select empty, Shift S, cursor selected. Let me get a drink of water here. Alright, Shift A, curve, circle, scale it in, and we're going to select this circle, then Shift select this, and press Control P, parent it to object, and that's just going to keep it a little more organized. Now, we're going to select all three of these objects, and then press Shift D, duplicate it, scale it on the Y, put it down below. Now here's another interesting thing to know. If you press Shift R, it repeats it. We're going to repeat it so we have a total of 5. And we're going to name this one. This one is the bevel. Remember that. The circle is the bevel. This is the taper. So we're going to call this just 1 BVL. And we're going to call this 1 TAPA. Now this is the part where we're going to go assign them to the curves. Now we want the big curves to grow, then the little curves to grow and accent it. So this is the part where we're setting up the order of our curves growth. Alright, let's begin. Now we're going to select this curve, go over here, choose taper object, 1 taper, 1 bevel. Now this one's backwards. Let's tab into edit mode, A to select everything, W, switch direction, problem solved. Now let's go ahead and just set up the basic animation of this animation. Let's click on automatic keyframe. Now we're going to select this, and this, and this, and this, and this, all of our empties. Press G, enter. That is set a keyframe. We're going to press up 4 times, press G again, set a keyframe. Now we're going to take this one, press G, X, 2, and press enter. Now there's a keyframe set for that on this frame, and these are still locked. So people are messaging me. So we're going to press up again. We're going to select these four, press enter twice. Then we're going to take this one, G, X, 2, and go there, move it up, select these 3, enter, select this one, G, X, 2, press enter, move up, select these 2, press enter, select this one, G, X, 2, press enter, move up twice with the up arrow, and then press G, X, 2. Now we're going to press E here, and we're going to turn that off so we don't make any more keyframes, and we're going to look at the animation. Alright, alright, send a couple of messages out real quick. Alright, back to where we were. Now you see that these slide out in increments. That's because this is going to be our big, our not so big, our medium, our not so medium, and our small. Now shift left to move back to beginning, and we'll just start off right here. Now we see that this curve is a bit big. If we take this circle and shrink it, we got a decent sized curve. Now I'm going to leave it like that because, as you'll see, I want these to sprout out of it, but I don't want them to overlap where you see them growing out of here. I want this to be shadowing that or covering it up. So this one is also one that we want to be that way. So one bevel, and another one. And if you want to make it interesting, I guess you could switch directions and that sort of stuff. But we're not going to be doing too much of that. Alright, that's what happens if you select the wrong options. And it appears that everything came out in the wrong direction. Now that did not happen originally, but whatever. And we're going to select this one and just add a couple to make it go off. Same with this one. And we're just going to swirl these in around each other a little bit, just so we can have these appear with a kind of different look to it. I always try something different in tutorials than I did originally, and it's just something I noticed in my other animation. They looked like they kind of broke off, just sprouted out of nothing. Alright, so now let's move on to the second one. So if we select this, we see that this keyframe is on 61, and so we're going to choose the taper and call it 2 taper, whatever, and call it 2 BVL. And the reason I'm adding the numbers is because it makes it really easy to find right here, I've noticed. So that's why. So now if we select this curve and we choose 2 taper, 2 bevel, and damn it, we will have to switch direction on everything, won't we? So let's scale this one down to be smaller than the main one. We'll select this one. We're just selecting random ones here, or I guess there's kind of a pattern, and just applying this one while switching the directions because I made a mistake. Now I'm also working on a way where you can do this using the grease pencil, which I think would really speed it up. 2 bevel, 2 taper, alright, wrong one. Alright, and we'll select this one, and that should be enough. Alright, now we're going to select this one, call this one 3 taper, and 3 bevel. Now we're going to select this one, or we're going to select this and move up to its keyframe here. Now if y'all wondering why the empties are here, the empties are pretty much a control for moving that stuff. You can move it in all sorts of crazy directions and make the curves do all sorts of interesting stuff, but we're not going to be doing that today. Now with this one, we're going to tab in, select it, W, switch direction just automatically, and call it, you get 3 taper, 3 bevel. Of course it's humongous, and I just scale each of them in lower as I go. And all these that are just hanging out, looking awful, we're going to try to give them some starts over here. And so we're going to select this one, or this one actually. 3 taper, 3 bevel, select everything, switch direction. Damn it. I can't believe I did this to all of them. It went so well the first time. Now I'm working on getting a microphone so I can have better audio, but that may not be for a moment. In the meantime, I'll have to just continue to sit as close to the monitor as humanly possible. So we're just selecting random ones. Well, I guess there's sort of a pattern here. I want the little swirls to grow out. I want the small curves to grow out after the big curves. And I know some of these are not going to animate correctly. I just know it, because on some of them I probably did not reverse them correctly. Alright, now that'll do it for number 3. Now let's select number 4. Let's call this 4BBL and 4 Taper. Now let's select this one, and let's give this one a 3. And these are kind of like a cue too. I kind of began to look at in the end. And I think I do want it to grow like that. Of course it looks ugly until we scale it down. Then it begins to look a lot better. Let's start finishing off some of these. 4 taper, 4 bevel. These are some of the ones that are definitely going to grow in the wrong direction. I don't know, I think that might look trippy too. That's up to y'all to experiment though. Just make sure, alright, it's still facing the wrong direction. Alright, and we're almost done here. Let's just add this one in. 4 taper, 4 bevel, switch direction. That one was just kind of hiding in there, so 4 taper, 4 bevel, switch direction, this one, four is going to be a pretty busy one that I can see. Alright, Alright. And I'm just moving some of these around just beforehand. We'll do that one for taper, for bevel. This one for taper, for bevel. And this one we're going to save for round 5. So this one is the finale. So name this one 5 BBL and 5 taper. So we're going to select this one. Alright, just scaling it up to make it look right. We want these to be about that thick. Alright, so let's assign these final objects. 5 taper, 5 bevel. Let's go ahead and reverse that. And finally the tip of the flower. 5 taper, 5 bevel. Alright, now let's select some of these that are drifting into nothingness and just connect them all to the center. And I think it'll give it a much nicer look to it. Alright, so we're going to select this leaf right here, and we're going to just put one in there, and there. And why not there? And the fact that we duplicated that many times will be our little secret. Now we'll select one, go over to Materials, New, Shadeless, jump over to Render Settings, Layers, No Sky, Close, World, Black, and we'll close layers, make this really big, and let's go ahead and save this file that we've been working on forever without saving. We'll call it Curves Online Tab. Alright, now here's the easy part. Let's make them all the same material. Press A to select everything, hold down Shift, unselect that, select it again, Control L. Horrible practice, but it will do for this tutorial because these are never going to be seen. These are just our levers. If you control their speed and change it, you can control how fast they grow, how long they grow, which ones come and go away. So G, Z, Z, and I just press Control Alt 0 to get the camera in this view, and I'm just centering it up the way I want it to look. Make it bigger on the screen, and that'll do. So let's render it out. Shift S, save, good luck, F12.